Okay, so back to Blackboard. All right, so we go to week 1. Okay, so here's the scavenger hunt. Okay, that's what we're about to work on. All right, so each one of you should be assigned to one of these 3 scavenger hunt assignments. So make sure you can see one of them. You should only see one of them. Okay. Whichever one your group has, y'all are going to get together on your own separate video chat and y'all are going to go through and y'all are going to find out this information. And then everybody in the group, when we come back to the meeting, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do. When you come back to the meeting, whenever you do a group assignment, both people have to participate in presenting the information, or however many people there are have to all participate, because this is a part of your participation grade, and this is a part of you learning how to communicate your ideas professionally, right? You're going to have to do that quite a bit when you leave here. So we start teaching you in class where you're in a safe space, everybody's in the same situation, and so you just get used to talking in front of people and talking about um, solving problems, okay? Because that's what you do. All right, so let me show you how to start a group chat if you didn't watch the video. So first of all, oh, wait, where are my teams? That's the wrong one. Okay, so what you would do is we're over here in the meeting, kind of like what someone did before. What you're going to do is you're just going to go up to meet right here where it says meet, and you're going to start a meeting. Now, here's what you need to do. You have to title the meeting based on your group name so that everyone in your group knows which meeting to join, because there will be 11 groups, right? So you see how I titled this class that we're in 11421 Introductory Concepts, and whoever started this meeting, it just says meeting now, because I think that's what it says if you don't put a title in it. Make sure you title it your group name. So if you're in group 8, it should say group. Most times it's best to use Firefox or Chrome.
Okay.
Or Blackboard. Weird stuff happens with Blackboard sometimes on browsers.
Fair enough. I'll assume that that's what the issue is if I'm the only one encountering that. So I'll just switch browsers. Thank you.
Yeah, switch browsers, work with your group, and then at the end of the class, if you still have some issues, then we'll try to tackle it. All
Oh,
right.
browser. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know this is also a stupid question, but I don't understand what we're supposed to be doing for the scavenger hunt.
You're supposed to okay, so if you go to test 1 material, you should see an assignment. Go to week 1,
Mm-hmm.
go to scavenger hunt.
Yep.
Which one do you see?
It says group assignment 1, group assignment scavenger hunt, but I don't see like any instructions on what we're supposed to do.
Where it says group assignment 1, you don't item is available. You don't see what's right here on my screen? Watch the video, find out Professor O'Donoghue's office hours. You don't see that?
Oh, that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay, I already did that
Okay.
then.
All right. You're supposed to be, and that is what you were supposed to be looking
Oh,
for the scavenger hunt. This is the drop box. Okay. So let's just clear this up so that people aren't confused. Whenever you have an assignment and you have to submit the assignment, this is the drop box that you submit the assignment in. All Blackboard assignments have a drop box. All right. So what Chris would have done is just put Chris, because you don't have to attach anything to this Dropbox except let me know who's in your group. It should have been Chris, Jose, and Hunter, right? He would have just put that in. Those are the people. Then he would have clicked submit. And I can't do, I don't think it's going to let me do it because I'm not a student. But what would have come up is that there'd have been a green banner that said submission successful, right? And that lets you know that you submitted the Dropbox the way you were supposed to. Now, either the Dropbox will have instructions attached to it, so there could have been some instructions attached to this Dropbox, or else you got to look above the Dropbox because those are the instructions for what the assignment is. All right. So one of these should have been the assignment. that you should have done and then submitted the names in the Dropbox. Okay. All right. So let's go on to group 2. Did y'all? Did you do
Yeah,
it?
we got it. Let me share my screen.
Who's group 2?
Group 2 is me, Creston Jones, and Stephen Payne. This is a group assignment too, so I'm assuming that's group 2.
Yeah, that's group 2.
Uh,
Okay.
So there's only 2 things. I mean, the first one is just watch the video on how to video chat.
Right.
It's weird. We've already went over that.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing was find Professor O'Donoghue's office hours and link to schedule an appointment with her. She's over here on the left. It says instructor office hours. You click on it. The office hours are right here. And then this link right here, if you click on it, click on the teacher.
And that's very important. Make sure you click on me because there are 2 instructors. There's Professor Kasimian and me.
Click on the date, and then you can choose a time to meet.
Excellent. Very good.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
Group 1, don't feel bad. Dakota was already in one of my classes earlier. So he was ahead of the game of everybody probably except for some of the people who had me last semester. So it's okay. So this is the one thing I always want y'all to know. It's okay if you make mistakes. It's okay if you don't get stuff right. That's why you're in school, right? You're in school to learn. And in order to learn, you got to take a chance. And when you take a chance, sometimes you're going to be wrong and you're not going to get it right, and that's okay. The important thing is to learn from every situation. That's what I'm looking for, and to know like what you didn't know before, you should know after you make the mistake. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so don't feel bad if you don't get stuff right today. It's the first day of class, and you won't get it right a lot of times, but then you'll learn. All right, group 3. Anybody from group 3? Okay, group 4. So here's what's going to happen, y'all. We just don't have enough time. I'm looking at how much time we've spent already. So I'm just going to be going quickly because we got a lot of people in this class. I'm used to having like 15 people in my class, and I got double that. So I don't have time to waste time. Not to be funny, but we just got to be ready to go. All right, group 4. Group 5.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
It's my group members are Christina and
Me too.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Who's talking?
Carlos.
Carlos. Okay.
Snap.
Okay. I'll be sharing my screen.
Okay.
And the first thing is watch the video on how to video on chat on Teams if you don't know how to. And to do that, you go to Lessons and Assignments tab and the how-to videos folder. And it's the second video.
Yeah.
And now I'll let one of my group members do the second one.
Alrighty.
Hello. For the second one, wait, how do I share my screen on this thing?
I'll share my screen. I'll do it.
At the very top, there is a box with an arrow in it at the very top right hand of your screen, usually.
Okay, cool.
It's next to leave normally, but I don't know. Everybody's leave is not in the same spot apparently. So.
Oh, can you see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second one was for, we had to search for the lab hours and stuff, and it's right here on the left-hand side.
That's
right.
called the navigation pane. I keep saying that word, and a lot of people might not know what it means, but that's the navigation pane that lets you navigate Blackboard. Okay.
Okay. And we had to search up the lab's schedule, and it's right here on the navigation panel, on the left-hand side, and it's lab hours right here.
Great. And notice, all right, so I'm going to say stuff as y'all show me stuff. We have the lab. We have 2 labs. Okay. So, oh, go back, Joseph. Go back.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'm just gonna talk while you have this up. We have 2 labs. Can you That's okay. I think people can see. One is
Zoom.
at. I was gonna say, can you zoom in a little bit, but
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. It's probably just for me. I have the oldest eyes out of all y'all. That's good. All right. So we have 2 labs. We have one lab at the North Metro campus in Ackworth. That's in room 224 in building B. We have another lab at the Marietta campus. That's in room 159. Okay. Look at the schedule. This is the schedule. These are when the lab will be open. Okay. So anytime you need to go use the computers at school, you can use these labs. Okay. Now, keep in mind, due to COVID, you can only have 10 people in the lab at a time. Because this is the programming class, if you have a computer at home, then I suggest that you just do your assignments at home. Someone asked, do you have to go to the lab to turn in assignments? And the answer is no. Thank the Lord for technology. You can go on Teams, and I'm going to show you how to do it to the tutor, and you can run your program for the tutor. The tutor can make sure it works. You can get checked off right in the comfort of your home and save your gas and your time. Okay. So some people do like to get out of their house because it's too loud or they can't concentrate or whatever. So the labs will be open, but only 10 people per lab. Now, don't wait to the last minute to do your programs if you need to go to school to use the computer and then you get there and there are 10 people and you can't do your program, because if your assignments are late, I don't accept them. Okay. Because I give you the schedule way ahead of time. So, one of the most important things you're going to have to learn to do as a college student is to manage your time. When people end up failing, it's not because the work was too hard. The work is rigorous. I'm not going to lie about that. But that's not why people fail. They fail because they don't manage their time, and it's quite a bit of work, and they don't get the work in. And if you don't get the work in, you get a 0. And so that's how you fail. So from the start, try to work out a schedule when you're going to do your assignments. Try to do them early so that you're not waiting until the last minute. And I think you'll be successful. And use the tutors. Oh, Joseph, you ended sharing.
Oh,
That's okay. The online tutors are available. Let me just share real quick. Oh, there it is. Okay. Over here where you see online schedule, those online tutors are always available at those times. So you can go online and get help with your program. You don't have to go to campus to get help with your program. So we provide a lot of resources for you to be successful, but I need you to take advantage of the resources, right? So I'm going to introduce you to Juan, because Juan is going to kind of be like the TA for this class when you have to turn in your group assignment. So let's go. Let's see. I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm not gonna be able to introduce you to him because when I go into his meeting, it's gonna end. But I might have him come into our meeting. But let me show you how you would do that if you were gonna do it online. If you're gonna get something checked off online. So I'm gonna go ahead and take control, Joseph. Thank you very much.
okay.
Okay. So if we're over here and you need a tutor, you need an online tutor. Okay. So first of all, you got to go to a different team. You got to go to the ECET tutoring team. So you should have seen a minimum of 2 teams, if not 3, just depending on how many of my classes you are in. You would go to ECET tutoring. Okay. Now notice these are called channels, right? You have to go to the online tutoring channel. Okay. If you go to the online tutoring channel, we have 2 tutors on duty right now. We have Cliff. You can see Cliff's little picture up here. This is Cliff. He is, all right, he tells you right here. He's at the North Metro, so he's on campus. So if a tutor is working on campus, then a lot of times they may be able to help you, but they may not be able to because they might be helping people who are in the lab. The person who is specifically supposed to be helping online students is Juan. Okay. And so you would just click join, you would join Juan's meeting, and he would be able to help you to check off your program, or if you were having some problems with your program, any of that. I'm going to send him a message and ask him to join our meeting and say, hey.
Professor, I don't have the tutoring team on my teams.
Who is that?
This is Milo.
Okay, let me make
Same
sure.
with me for Connor.
Connor and Milo.
Yep.
And Ray Marker as well. I don't have it. The only team I have is for this class.
Okay, I'll check that in a minute. So if you just want to ask the tutor a quick question, you can just put in a chat. If you don't want to join and you just have a quick question, you can do that as well.
Also, me, Christina, I don't have it.
Okay. Well, that's weird. I wonder what happened. Why y'all,
Same
how y'all
here.
get off?
Ms. Donna here.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Are y'all sure? I put y'all in here. All right. First, I'm gonna start with Ray. Let's see, Raymond. Did y'all join the class? Did y'all register recently?
No.
No.
I registered before Christmas.
Yeah.
Wait, is that you, Raymond? Marker?
That's me.
Okay. All right. Who else? Who else?
Connor.
Christina? Right. Spell your name.
Who?
Milo. What's your email? All right. Who said that they weren't in the
I'm not. Chris McLean.
Chris is Christopher, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's me right there at the top, Milo.
Christopher. All right. Anybody else?
Connor.
Who?
Connor Dunbar.
Connor.
Christina Franco.
Hello, Professor. How are you?
Daniel Goff.
Fine. I'm getting some people on here real quick, and then I'll have you. Wait, Christina, you don't have an H, right? I'll have you introduce.
No,
yourself.
no H.
This is you, right, Christina Franco Ramirez?
Yes.
Anybody else?
Me, Daniel Goff.
Ryan Alderman.
All right, wait. I couldn't hear that. Say that again. One person. Ryan. Was it Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. Ryan Alderman.
Ryan Alderman. Okay, who else?
Daniel Goss.
Daniel. There we go. Goss. Anybody else?
Jay.
Who?
Jay.
Jay? Oh, okay.
Yeah. UKU, EKU.
ONA. Okay. I just added you though. Weren't we emailing each other?
Yeah.
Something is going on weird with Teams. I don't know what it is. Is that everybody?
No, myself, Jose.
Jose. Anybody else?
Me, Professor. Aaron.
I don't. Who?
Aaron. AARON.
Hey y'all, when y'all say me, I can't even see my screen right now. So just say what your name is for me, please. Anybody else?
Damon Johnson.
Okay. It just seems like somebody just went in and took out. I put everybody's name in way before the semester started. Anybody else? No? Okay. Everybody should be able to see it now. Okay, so now let me get back to my other screen. Juan is here.
So one thing, guys, y'all need to check your email because sometimes you receive it as an invitation and you have to accept the invitation through your email in order to be accepted into the group. So make sure you check your email first.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know somebody was having problems with their getting the the password, the two-step verification.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever got in. All right. So anyway, introduce. This is Juan. Juan is a lab tutor, but for this class, he's going to be like the TA, right? So whenever you are finishing up your group assignments late after class, you're going to go to Juan's online video chat, and you and your group members. So whenever you do a group assignment, the whole group has to be there, and Juan has to check everybody off. If everybody from the whole group is not there, only the people who are there get credit for the group assignment. Okay, so it's a group assignment. I want y'all to collaborate. It's important. So you're gonna go to Juan in order to do this. Unless he's done. If you don't do it right after class, he has office. What's your office out? I mean, what are your work hours for today, Juan?
Today I'll be here until 6 p.m.
So if you finish by 6, you go to Juan. If you finish after 6, because I do give you until the end of the day, then you'll just have to go to whatever tutor is working at that time.
So,
all right. You got anything else to say, Juan?
No, I'm looking forward to work with you guys. Just make sure you are doing stuff on time. That's the main thing. The key for success in this class is doing your stuff on time, and I'll actually recommend if you can do stuff ahead of time. That really helps. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you ever need anything related to any of the classes, it could be programming or any other classes related to the program, we're here to help you. Just one thing that I'm really picky about is just make sure that you're keeping yourself to date with your assignments, and that way I can help you as much as I can. Okay.
And Juan knows what he's talking about. He did the program. He completed the program a couple of years ago. So everything y'all have been through, he has done. So, all right. Thanks, Juan.
All righty.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let's see here. All right. So all the other groups, I think that was everything that we needed to go over. So we're just going to skip. Let's see. Just tell me who you are, but you don't have to show me how to do everything. Group 6.
It's Milo, Jay, and Sadaya.
Sadaya.
Sorry. We had problem finding the supply list. We couldn't find it anywhere.
Oh. Okay, that's because there is no. The only thing you need is code blocks. So I think maybe I need to update that. So sorry about that, but okay. And then group 7.
Group 7's Ray Marker, Hero Ruiz, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, Aaron Baltazar. And we watched the team's video. We found that the lab was under week 2 for the orientation.
Cool. Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and show me that. That's something we haven't done. So go ahead and show me that.
So under lessons and assignments, and this is what I was pointing out to you before, we'll discuss later that I don't have some of the same things on my screen.
But this is, you haven't switched to the new browser. Oh, this is even with Firefox.
This is even with Firefox, unfortunately, but I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Okay.
So test 1 material, and then going to week 2. And then here's the lab assignments for orientation.
All right. So the orientation lab, let's just talk about that real quick while it's here. Okay, you see how I tell you, okay, what the lab tutor is going to need to show you. That's what the lab tutor is going to need to show you. So that's what you're going to have to do. Now, keep in mind, just like when we said keep your work done on time and don't wait till the last minute. Here's the situation. If everybody is in line waiting for the lab tutor to get done, and then it's time for the lab tutor to get off from work and you don't get checked off, guess what? You don't get checked off, okay? So the moral of the story is don't wait till the last minute. Everybody does, and it usually just causes issues. So in this lab, what's going to happen is, hopefully we're going to get to code blocks today. So the lab tutor, when they're not going to really have to show you how to use code blocks. You're going to show them that you know how to use code blocks, right? You're going to have to learn how to attach your program to the Dropbox, how to create a flow chart using raw.io, how to attach your flow chart to the Dropbox, and any other questions that you may have. Now, that's just giving you telling you what you need to do. The program that you're going to need to type in and run is in blue. So Ray, please click on First C Program Docs. And then you're probably going to have to pull that into your share box.
Oh, I thought it'd come up. Sorry.
That's okay. For whatever reason, sometimes if I just try to share, say like a Word document, it won't do it. You pretty much just have to pull that document into your screen, whatever screen you're sharing. That's how it normally works.
I think it's when I had maximized, so that was the problem. Are you able to see it now?
No.
Even the Word document? I have it overlaid on the screen, and it's within my red box that I'm sharing, but I'm using 2 monitors. I don't know if that's throwing things off.
That could be. That could be throwing. Yeah, because I can't see anything. We can't see it.
Sorry. Yeah, I got it where it would need to be, but.
Oh, and it's in the same. It's on top of your black
Firefox browser.
you're showing now.
It is.
Okay. All right then. Well, I'll just take over. Okay, so if we come back over here and we go to lessons and assignments, and then we go to week test material 1 and we go to week 2. All right, and then you have your orientation assignment. Okay, so if I click on this program, can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the program that you're going to have to type in. What it's supposed to do is determine whether the user is voting age. Okay, you're going to have to type it in, fix any error messages that come up, and attach it to your Dropbox. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is you're going to have to make a flow chart. Okay, here's the flow chart. You're just going to have to recreate this flow chart. Okay, you're going to find out flow charts are important, and you have to make a flow chart for every program that you write, because you have to think through the program, and it helps you think through the program. Okay. All right. So group 8. Y'all able to do anything?
Group 8. All right. It's Dominic, Elizabeth, and Daniel. I couldn't get Daniel to the call for some reason. Daniel Stacy.
Daniel Stacy.
Yeah, it says he's on
here.
He's not in the call, but it says he's online.
Oh, okay. All right. So I don't know. All right. And then group 9. Y'all don't have to. Everything else has been covered. Group 9. Y'all here? Group 10.
Yeah, that was me, Connor, Damon, and Ryan. And we had to find Professor O'Donoghue's office hours and link to schedule an appointment with her, and then find the course schedule, which is in the syllabus.
Yeah, that's one place it is, but there's another place where it is, which is at the, I think I showed y'all. Right up here. It's there too, so that you don't have to go all the way back to start here every time. You can just go to test 1 material. Okay, that was group 10. And then group 11. Is anyone in group 11?
I think that was just me. I was by myself, Jordan, and I had the same as Dakota.
Okay. Group 11, that was Jordan. Okay, cool. All righty. This took a long time. So let's just go over some stuff real quick, because I still have we have 45 minutes. Okay, we should be able to get it done. Okay, so everyone should have gone through start here. Okay, watch the video, looked at the syllabus. Let's go through the syllabus just a tad bit. Since you can read, I'm not going through the whole thing, just the highlights that you need to know. So you already know how to schedule an appointment with me. That's going to be a couple of your communication assignments are going to be schedule an appointment with me, because I need to talk to you and check in and make sure everything's going right, or you need to talk to me if you're having any issues. So make sure you know that. Anytime you go to campus, The whole time you're on campus, you have to wear a mask. It's mandatory, okay? So be prepared. If you don't have a mask, go to campus safety. They have masks as well. Whenever you go into the lab, you're going to have to sign in on the computer, and you're also going to have to sign in on where you sat. Okay, the numbers, the COVID numbers are up on campus, and we have to have all that information so that we can contact trace. Okay, so for any class that you meet face to face, you have to have a seating chart and you sit in the same place. In the lab, it probably would be good if you sat in the same place, but you might not be able to because somebody might get there before you. But you do have to note where you sat. If you get COVID, there is a self-reporting link on here, a self-reporting form. Please report it so that other people can know and they can be contacted. Let me know, okay? Because this is a pandemic. If you can't get your work done because it's COVID, of course, I'm going to work with you. Okay. So don't feel like, oh, Lord, I'm going to fail. I can't get my work done and I have COVID. No, that's not going to happen. Let me know and then we will work something out. I'm very flexible. You'll find that I'm very flexible with students as long as you talk to me ahead of time and we can work some stuff out. If you come to me after an assignment is due, then it's too late. Okay. So make sure you come to me beforehand and try to work something out if you notice that you can't something has come up or work or anything. Just try to get your stuff done on time, but if you can't get it done on time, let me know beforehand, not after the fact. Okay? After the fact, you just get a 0. Beforehand, we try to work something out. Okay, this class is a programming class. So of course, programming is the most important thing you will do here. And so it is worth most of your grade. 45% of your grade are your programming assignments. Okay, you learn how to program by programming. So that is going to be very important. You have communication and participation. That's 15% of your grade. Homework is 15% because, of course, you got to understand the commands in order to write a program, right? So the homework is what's going to help you learn how to do that. Tests and quizzes, 10%. Very low percentage because I'm really not all that interested in what you can memorize. I'm interested in what you can do. I'm interested in, by the end of this course, you can write a program, okay? So that is what I'm placing my emphasis on, not if you can memorize or pick the best out of 4 choices on a test. And then you have a practical exam in this class because, like I said, I'm interested that by the time you finish this class, if I give you a C programming assignment, you can write it. If you can do that, then I know you've been successful in the class. If you can't, then you haven't. That's what that practical exam is. I will give you a task and you will have to write the program for it, okay? And it's worth 15% of your grade. All right, look at the numerical score criteria, okay? 89.9 to 100 is an A. If you have an 89.8, it is a B, okay? If you do your assignments and you don't get zeros, normally we don't have a problem, but rarely I give extra credit. If I give you some extra credit, it won't be an extra assignment. I'm not giving you any extra credit that requires me to do work, okay? If I give you extra credit, it's going to be, they have different events on campus that I feel like they could enrich your learning or they can help you in some way. Like they have Eagle Week this week. I meant to give you extra credit for that if you wanted to go. But then, it's only extra credit because some people don't want to be out. It's COVID, right? So, it's just up to you, but it'll be something like that. So at the end of the semester, don't ask me about extra credit. If you just get your assignments done, you will do well, okay? And you won't be right on the verge. Any extra credit I give you is not going to be 2 points anyway, right? It's going to be like a half a point, 0.6 points, because 2 points is a lot. People don't understand that. 2 points is a very large amount of your grade. Is 2%. I would never just round somebody up 2%, okay? So if you just do your work, you'll be good. Never any food in the labs. We don't want our equipment getting messed up. We have nice new equipment and we don't want it getting messed up. So no food in the labs. You got to come to class, okay? This class, unless we have talked about it, this is, even though it's online, it's what's called asynchronous online, which means it has a time associated with it. Anytime you have a time associated with your class, you're expected to be there, whether online or in person. This is the schedule. Okay, like I said, you have a lot of assignments. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 assignments a week. So it's going to require good time management. Oh, I have a misspelled word here. So make sure you stay on top of it. If you notice, a lot of stuff is due the same day. Don't wait. Like if you have 2 homework assignments that are due the same day, don't do them both on Friday. Just try to spread it out so that you can understand the material and learn. You have to get a 70% or higher on your programming assignments. If you don't, and everything else you do well in, you still will not pass the class. If you can't program, then you should not pass the class, okay? So make sure you do your programming assignments. And everything else you can read. Any questions? All
Nope.
right. No questions. Thank you. Who said that?
Me, Connor.
Connor. Thank you, Connor. I appreciate it. Feedback is very good. I don't like talking to myself. All right, navigating Blackboard, watch all this stuff. Now, code blocks. Did all of y'all download code blocks?
Yes.
Anybody have any issues downloading code blocks? I gave you the most up-to-date version. Last semester we had a couple. It's okay if you upload an old version, but what I find is that sometimes the compiler gets better as the version gets newer, and so it'll be some issues every now and again. If you have a Mac, anybody have a Mac?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, code blocks doesn't work, so hopefully y'all downloaded another compiler. Because code blocks, well, it didn't last semester. Who knows? It might, but if it doesn't, then that's why. So there are plenty of free compilers out there. Find a free C compiler. You're good. You don't have to use code blocks. We like to use it. We used to use this other one called CHIDE. We stopped because it used to be free. Then they started charging, which I'm not mad at them. They want to make money for their work, but we don't really want to pay, right? If there's some free ones. So if you want to pay, though, that's on you. Feel free. We do have CHIDE, I think, on some of our computers at the lab, but we pretty much changed it all to code blocks. Okay. Any questions? Now is the time to ask because I've been talking a lot. Any questions?
No.
No? All
No.
right. So let's
All
go.
good here.
I heard someone say something. Did someone say something?
I just said all good.
All good. Okay. So there are the how-to videos. So hopefully you've seen that, and I'll be putting more in there, how to do different stuff. Okay. There is no book. I'm trying to save y'all money. There's plenty of free resources online. So in addition to my videos, sometimes I suggest you go on YouTube, right? You might find somebody on YouTube who you like, who explains these concepts in a different way that you get better. That's fine. Also, there are some a couple of websites that I really like that have different tutorials that you can go to, and you can use that as a resource also. Okay, so take advantage of the online resources and don't feel like you just have to listen to my video if my video just isn't, there's just more that you need that my video isn't giving you, then find what you need. Okay. All right, and then of course there's test one material. This is where you should be working. There is work due this week, right? So the no-show quiz, you need to do that by Friday. If you have not completed this quiz by Friday, you will be dropped from the class, okay? This quiz says that yes, you want to be in this class. When you don't do it, it says, no, I don't want to be in this class, okay? So you have by Friday to get this quiz done, and if you don't, you will be dropped from the class. So I suggest you just do it today. All right, so questions? No? All right, so anytime we have lectures, you're going to go into the topic and there will be lecture notes, okay? And so for each lecture, I'll say what I'm lecturing on. Find the lecture notes, all right? And then you're going to fill them out. If you miss class, usually there are solved lecture notes, or I record the class so that you can go back and you can go through and you can fill out your lecture notes. So everybody get their computer basics lecture notes up. Okay. That's what we're about to go over now. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm still having the same original problem. All I can see is your screen.
All right. Do you see my screen with
Yes.
Okay, that's all you need to see. You don't need to see anything else.
Okay.
You're fine. I'm about to go over the lecture notes. Well, the lecture notes you get off of Blackboard. So you would have to print those off of Blackboard or bring up the Word file and you can type in the Word file as we go. What happened to my light? All right, I have a new document camera, so let's hope that it works the way it's supposed to, y'all. If it doesn't, we'll just have to deal with it till I figure it out, because this is the first lecture that I'm using for it. Okay, so let's autofocus, because that doesn't look very focused to me. All right, can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right, good. Okay, and then normally what's going to happen, it's probably not going to happen today because we don't have a lot of time, but I have like these little popsicle sticks and I just call on people randomly, okay? Because everybody needs to participate, but I like to let you know ahead of time that you'll be called on at some point during the lecture, okay? So just be prepared because you have to participate and you have to just be comfortable answering questions, basically. Showing me that you understand what's going on, because if you don't, I want to make sure you do. So, okay, so let's get started. So we're just going to talk about computer basics. And, you know, Jay, he had emailed me and he made a good point when he was like, okay, well, this is like my first class and I don't know a lot about computers. And if for a lot of people, this might be their first class and they might not know a lot about computers. And it's fine because you're going to learn it. If a class doesn't have a prerequisite, that means we don't expect you to have prior knowledge. If you do, great. But if you don't, you're going to learn everything you need to know. Okay. So don't worry about that. That's why we have all these tutors and all these resources and stuff like that. So you'll notice my lecture style is to ask questions and then we answer the question. So on the left-hand side is the question and then we fill in the question, because questions are, to me, more important than answers. You can find a million answers on Google and on the internet. What's valuable nowadays is a person who knows how to ask the right questions and who knows how to analyze the information or the data that they found. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for just answers. I want you to ask questions. Questions are very important. I do want answers, but I want you to ask good questions. All right, so first of all, what's a computer? Okay, we all use computers. Pretty much our phone is a computer. What is a computer? So and anytime you want to answer a question, even if I don't ask, if you want to jump in, feel free. Like I said, you can just unmute and talk, and that is fine with me. But it's a general purpose machine that can perform any task if given the right set of instructions. All right, so you have to give a computer instructions. If you don't give it instructions, it doesn't know what to do. So that's why people think like computers are smarter than people. But in reality, they're not, because if they don't have the right set of instructions, then they can't do anything, right? They can't infer, they can't do any of that. You have to program them. So the programmer is important when it comes to a computer. All right, so what's a program? It's a set of instructions to perform a task, right? So you write a program to perform a task, and it is the instructions that the computer will perform in order to get the task done, right? It will execute, really, in order to get the task done. So basically, if you look at my graphics here, you have this program, which you can't see that well. If you open up your own notes, you can see it better. So I printed this in black and white. But you have this program that you typed on code blocks, right? And then you save it and you download it and you compile it and all that. And then the computer is able to run that program and do something with it. Okay. So what are system programs? Anybody know?
A specific set of instructions?
But for what? It is a specific, it's a program, so it is a specific set of programs, but what is your system program? So like if I asked you for one, maybe for like the computer system that you're using right now, could you tell me one?
iOS.
Excellent. Yes, iOS for like Macs, right? What about Windows, right? Windows, Linux, right? So basically, it's a program that manages the hardware and all other software. Of the computer, because the computer has a lot of programs on it, right? And it has a lot of hardware. And some program has to tell the computer when to display information to your screen, when to take in information from your keyboard, when to open up Word if you want to type a document, you know, when to play a video if you want to watch a video. That's what a system program does, or an operating system. A lot of times we just call it an operating system. And that's what it does. But what about application programs? Somebody tell me about some names of some application programs.
Microsoft Word.
Say that again, I just couldn't hear you.
Microsoft Word.
Yes, Word, right? Word is one.
Excel.
Excel.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Google Chrome.
I didn't hear that one.
Google Chrome.
Chrome, Google Chrome. The browser. Yes, right? So basically, application programs are programs that perform a specific task. Okay, so unlike the operating system that's just managing all this stuff, right? It has on a lot of hats. A system program just does one thing. Well, it could be a complex program, but it pretty much does one thing. Like Chrome is a browser, right? It's a web browser. PowerPoint is presentation software, right? You make presentations on it. Word is a document, like a text editor type file, right? So that's what we mean by specific task. All right. Now, we also have user programs, and that's what you'll be creating, right? So these are executable programs, and they end in a .exe, right? And you will, excuse me, you will use C, and you can use other languages as well. We're learning C today, but there are other languages to perform a specific task, and that's called a user program. Okay. Humans understand the decimal system easily, right? We learned that from the 2nd grade, right? That's what we understand. People think maybe we came up with that because we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. I don't know. But there are 10 digits, right? In the decimal system. And the digits are 0 through 9. Those are the 10 digits of a decimal system. And that's what we pretty much understand. A computer only understands binary. That's it. Okay. Binary, because it's easy to represent electrically, right? And computers are electrical, right? It's easy to represent electrically because there's only an on or an off, right? Okay. So there are 2 digits, not 10, 2 digits. One represents on, the other represents off. Hey, if y'all can't see my notes, let me know, because sometimes I'm just looking down. I'm not looking at my screen. There.
Yeah, I can see your handwritings clearly, but I can't see the rest of the stuff.
Oh yeah, you have to pull up the you'll have to pull up the Word file, because yeah, I don't think it's gonna get that much bigger. If I make it any bigger, it's going to hardly show. It's not gonna let me be able to put everything in. Let me see how big I can make it a little bit bigger, but it just won't show. Yeah, it won't show the bottom when I make it that big. That's the problem. Yeah, so you'll have to pull up the notes out of Blackboard, and just stay on after our class is over. I'm going to show you how to do some stuff. All right, Jay? So just stay on
Okay.
the call when it's done. Okay. So back to the notes. So there are 2 digits, and the digits are 0 and 1. Those are the 2 digits. It's either 0 for off or 1 for on. That's it. Okay. So that's what a computer understands, right? And it's perfect, because I already said it describes on or off, true or false. Current is flowing, current is not flowing. That's what we're trying to find out. On, off, current flowing, not flowing. Okay. True or false. It can represent those things. All right. So in the number system, especially in the binary system, the number of bits determine how many choices you can have, right? So if you have 1 bit, and basically a bit is a binary digit. It's just shortened to bit. That's what bit means, binary digit. If you have 1 bit, you have 2 choices, right? Because it can be 0 or 1. It could be on or off, right? So you have 2 choices. If you have 2 bits, then you have 4 choices, right? Because the first choice can be on or off, and you multiply that by the second choice, which can be on or off. So that gives you 4. All right. If you have 3 bits, then you have 2 times 2 times 2, right? So then that's 8. If you have 4 bits, you have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 16. Okay. Now, what you probably should know, just from being an electronics consumer, is the more bits you have, that means that's the more memory your device can have. And that means that it costs more, right? Because it takes up more space, it's more memory, and it's going to cost more. But then it's going to give you usually better precision, better imaging. It's going to make it a lot better, but you're going to pay for it because you have more bits. So like if you have a 32-bit computer system, and now they have 64-bit ones as well. It started out with 16 bits, right? And now it's up to 64. So it's getting, larger and larger, so that you can do more and more, right? So if we take this pattern that we have right here and we turn it into a mathematical formula, okay? If n is the number of bits, then the number of possible choices is 2 to the n, right? 2 to the 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the third, right? So like that first example, that would have been 2 to the 1. That's 1. 2 squared, that's 4, right? 2 to the third, that's 8. And 2 to the fourth is 16, right? So that's how you represent it in a formula. All right, then we have the brains of the computer, and we call it the CPU, right? And basically what that stands for is Central Processing Unit. And what it does is execute instructions. It executes all the instructions from the operating system, from the programs you create, from the software that you have on. Okay. Now, computers only understand machine language. That's all they understand. Okay. So that means they understand zeros and ones, right? And unfortunately, we don't like to deal in zeros and ones. And so that's why we came up with different types of languages that you could break down to machine language, but that humans could understand. And then you could break it down so that the computer could understand it. Because no matter what language you end up using, it has to be broken down or compiled or assembled and turned into machine language, right? So say you wanted your computer to add two numbers, and we understand this expression 7 plus 5, right? But how would you break it down so that a computer understood it? Okay. Well, first of all, you have this number 7, okay? And it's called an operand. Then you have the number 5. So this is operand 1, right? And then we would say this is operand 2, right? Then you have the plus, right? And it is called an operation, right? So that's an operation. Okay, so some sort of a mathematical operation, right? So if you wanted to break that down into computer language, what you would have is this very long string of zeros and ones, each representing some part of that expression, 7 plus 5, okay? First, you would have something like the first three numbers would be called the opcode, right? So that would be called the opcode. So basically, the opcode is some sort of an operation. And in this example, 010 means, I got this wrong, so it should be, it's 4. 0100, it's 4 bits, sorry, not 3. It means add. So that's telling the computer you need to do addition, right? And then you have these bits, which is operand 1, so that's 7 in binary, right? And then you have these bits, which is operand 2, which is 5 in binary, okay? So then the computer would break this down and it would know what to do. Operand 1 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We use 8 bits to express 7, but you only need the last 3 ones, but you still put the zeros in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's 7 in binary. And then you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. No, 1, 0, 0. This is why I don't like using pens. This is 1, 0, 1. That's 5 in binary. All right. So then this is like a program in machine code. All right. A whole bunch of zeros and ones. Why would you not want to write in machine code? Why is it not ideal? Well, first of all, it's tedious. No one wants to sit around writing all these zeros and ones, right? It's not readable by humans. If we look at this machine code, we have no idea what in the world is going on, okay? It's not transferable to different microprocessors, so that's a problem. A lot of times you're stuck with whatever processor you're using when it comes to machine code. So the machine code for, say, an iOS microcontroller would be different from the machine code from, say, an Android, or if you had a microcontroller, say like a 8051, or maybe you're familiar with like an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi, they would all have different machine language because every microprocessor has its own architecture and machine code is based on that microprocessor's architecture, okay? So that's why we as humans are not fans of machine code. So we came up with a different language that was slightly better. It's called assembly language, right? And so with assembly language, instead of putting all those zeros and ones, if you wanted to add two numbers like 4 and 5, you would write a statement something like add 4, 5, right? And so that makes it somewhat better, right? You're not dealing with all these zeros. So you write your assembly code, which would be right here, and then you have what's called an assembler. Okay. And then the assembler breaks down that assembly code into machine code. So at least we're not writing the machine code, right? The assembler is breaking it down, and then the computer can read the machine code. Okay. So, but why is it not ideal? Same thing. It's not portable. It's specific to a microprocessor architecture, and it's low level, even though it's somewhat better. And you're going to learn this when you take digital systems 2 in the program, because it's good to know. It's still low level, right? So we were like, okay, or someone was like, okay, we need some higher level languages because we don't want the language to be tied to the processor. We want to be able to write a program and then we can run it on any microprocessor that we want to, okay? And we want it to be more similar to the natural language, to how we talk, okay? Because that's going to make more sense to us. And so that's where high level languages came from. So, of course, C, the language that we're taking now, is one of the high level languages. Can someone tell me some of the other programming languages that you've heard about?
C#, Python.
C#.
One in Java.
Java. We used to teach that. They teach it in the CIST program. Java. Python, that's used a lot in robotics. I took what this seems ancient, Pascal, when I was in computer.
C++.
C plus.
Yeah, C++, C. My 2 pluses almost look like a sharp. Okay, yeah. So those are some of the high level languages. Okay. Now, the high level languages still have to be converted into machine language. You can't get around, you can't get over that. But what happens is you write your code, which we call source code. So say we're going to write this program called add. Okay. So we have the source code. This is what you will write on code blocks. Source code, right? And I'm going to say this is code blocks that we're using up here. But it could be any compiler. You would have what's called add.c. So anytime you write a program, you have to give it the extension .c. That lets the compiler know that this is C code that you're writing. You're using C programming language, okay? Then you have a compiler. Instead of an assembler, it's called a compiler. Then the compiler breaks it down into machine code, right? So what would come out would be a file called add.exe, and that's the executable file. And that's the file, like if you click on down here, if I click on Word, that's an executable file. When I click on it, it comes up and it does its things because I've clicked on the executable file that has already been compiled and it's ready for me to use. Okay. Your .c file is different. That's your source code, but that's not your executable code, right? You have to compile it first before it can be executed and do what it needs to do. You never see the source code for all of the software that you use. You don't see the source code for Word. You don't see the source code for Firefox or for Excel because you're not interested. It's a huge source file, and plus it's proprietary. They wouldn't let you see it, but you see the executable file. That's what you see when you download any kind of app onto one of your devices. All right, so there are also what's called interpreted languages, all right? And so they do not generate an executable file. Python is one of those. Okay, so what you have is you have source code, and then you have what's called an interpreter. And the program is just executed within the interpreter. So Okay, so that's called an interpreted language. Okay, and I said Python is one. Now, what we also have and what we are going to be using in this class, unless you have a Mac, you might be able to find one, but I'm just not familiar with it, is what's called an IDE. That's what code blocks is. Okay, and it's an integrated development environment. It's called an integrated development environment. So what that means is that you can edit, compile, and run all in one environment. Okay, so see that? You can edit, compile, and run in one environment. So that's very convenient because normally you would have to use some kind of text editor to edit your file. Then you would have to compile it. Then you would get your .exe file. Then you would have to run that .exe file. You'd have to do all that separately. In code blocks, you don't have to do that. You type in your file, you click build, and then it runs on its own. You can do it all in one environment. So that's called an IDE. If you don't use an IDE and you just use a compiler, then what'll happen is you'll have to find your executable file, and then you'll have to run the executable file. Okay, so that's just the difference between a compiler and an IDE.
Ms. O'Donoghue, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Right on top, we were talking about the code blocks, compiler. At the bottom, it says source code. Is that for addition C program, or what does that stand for? The A.
Oh no, that's just the name of the file that we just named it that. So that's just the file.
Oh, add C and then add XE for oh, that has nothing to do with add.xee for executable, right?
Yes. So the file name is add. So when we were in code blocks and we typed it in, we just saved it as add.c. That was the file name. But then once we built it and compile it, the compiler is going to generate add.exe, which is the executable file. Good question. Good question. All right. So basically, here's our summary. Okay. We started out with this binary machine code, right, which we didn't like. So what happened was it went to a high level language, all right, like C, what we're using, where when you were typing in stuff, it just made more sense. And in between high level and low level, because this machine code, it says binary, but really I will put machine here. There is an intermediate, which is assembly code, right? But at the end of the day, the high level and the machine code all get broken down. The high level and the assembly code all get broken down into machine code. And there is a problem here because the high level code doesn't move into assembly. You either have high level or you have assembly, but they both get broken down into machine code. And the machine code is what the computer really understands. And these two, high level and medium kind of level code, is what humans understand. Whew, I got through it. Any questions?
Nope.
I actually do have a question.
Yes, shoot.
Where would we find the recorded lectures?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna talk about that in a few minutes. Any questions about the lecture before we move on?
Yes, yes. Can we go back to the high level code, please?
Sure.
Okay, just want to verify on something, Mr. O'Donoghue. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
No problem. Where are you talking about? Which page?
The last one, the summary.
I don't know why. Oh, okay.
See, the problem is that
my
screen freezes, so I don't get to see everything right away.
Okay. What's your question?
Okay, so you said that when it goes from high level, it doesn't automatically go to assembly code, right? It goes.
It goes to machine code. It goes from high level, and then the compiler breaks it down into machine code. If it's assembly, then the assembler breaks it down into machine code.
Okay, so that's why you erased that arrow coming down from high level.
Yes, that's incorrect. And I just saw that. That's incorrect. It's not like high level goes to assembly and then assembly goes to machine. No, that's not it at all.
Okay.
Maybe this
It's just
graph,
two.
I just got this graphic from somewhere, but maybe they were
Gotcha.
just talking about evolution.
It's
I
just
don't,
basically two different options. Either high level goes to machine code, or assembly code goes into machine code or binary code. Is the same thing, right?
exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
And for the most part, the only reason you would probably use assembly language is if you use a microcontroller. A microcontroller is very similar to a microprocessor, except a microcontroller doesn't, it's made for machines, right? It doesn't have inputs and outputs. It doesn't have peripheral devices, right? So it's kind of like your refrigerator, that your smart refrigerator, right? It would have a microcontroller because for the most part, you're not going to have a keyboard and you're not going to have a display, right? The machine is just going to, the code is just going to have the machine do, or the appliance do stuff to make it smarter, okay? If you have a microprocessor, then that's the computer. And that's when you have all right, so this is how you break it down. A microprocessor, a computer is meant to interact with humans. A microcontroller is meant to interact with a machine. That's how you can tell the. So if you're
Gotcha.
interacting with humans, you got to have peripheral devices, input and output, but not if you're interacting with the machine, then you have sensor. That's your input information, but you don't need a keyboard or a keypad, right? So that type of thing.
May I pose a scenario? Maybe you can explain this a little bit better.
Sure.
All right. So Apple came out with the M1 chip. The M1 chip is supposed to be the latest and greatest new technology, correct? However, uh, not everything is working like applications with that chip because they were all Intel based and a different architecture. So I've heard, based on the things that I've read and viewed, about the compiler and about bringing Rosetta as a translator. Is that kind of how this is taking effect in a sense, where they taking new things to translate it so it can be applicable to the new chip versus, or how everything was working with the Intel chips and the different
Now, that actually has more to do with integration. So whenever you have something like a huge system like a phone or a computer, it has to work with other systems, right? And then you have this software in between the two systems that kind of reminds you of, like, you know how like when you put your printer, when you install a new printer, you have to install the drivers, and the
right.
drivers are that information, or is that code that helps the computer understand the hardware. Well, what happens with integration is sometimes when people come up with new products and stuff, it can't communicate effectively at first. There's like a lot of bugs and stuff, and it's because of the integration software in between the two. So that's kind of
Gotcha.
more of that. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay,
all
okay.
right. Yeah, so let me show y'all real quick because time is up for the official class. So let me tell you what you're gonna have to do with your group. Wait, what was the question that I was asked before I started? Somebody asked me a question. I said I'm gonna cover that in a minute, but I can't remember what the question was.
Yeah. It was
How do you go back to the
recorded
recording?
lectures.
Oh, the recorded sessions. Okay, great. Okay, so what's gonna happen is a lot of times what I will try to do is put them after I record them and after they get processed and everything, I'll try to put it underneath videos and slides, right? But if I don't get a chance to put it underneath videos and slides, there's two ways you can get to it. Okay, so one way that you can get to it, well, there's one way that you can get to it, and it's on Teams. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Teams. Here we go. Okay, you're going to go here. All right, you're going to come back to our team. And then what's going to happen? You got to go to online lectures. Well, hopefully it'll be in here too. So if you go here to videos and then you go to course videos, it just depends on how quickly I can get around to getting it done. That's going to be the problem. If you go to course videos, every online lecture, like if you wanted to see my online lectures from last semester, they're all here, okay? And they're in Blackboard. But either I'm going to put it here eventually, but definitely it's going to be where we just finished up. So once I finish this, what's going to happen is you're going to see this is going to go away, and then you're going to see like video was recorded, and you should be able to click on it. Let's see if I can find one from last semester. All this stuff from last semester is still here. let's see, like right here, okay? This was one of the lectures that I recorded. And once I finished recording it, it was right here posted. So you'll be able to find it there. So you can either find it here, here, or in Blackboard. Always here, okay? I have to put it into videos and into Blackboard. So you can always find it here, okay? So that's one way to do it. Okay, then the other thing I want to tell you is about your group assignment that's due by the end of the night. Okay, so since I didn't get to do it, you might need just a little bit more help from Juan, which is fine. That's what he's there for. And we have the other tutors as well. Also, if you're having issues with, say, your internet or your computer, you can always go to the lab and join the class from the lab if you need to. Okay, so always keep that in mind. You can always go to the lab. We have computers there, and a lab assistant who can assist you if you need to. So your group assignment is this Simple C program. So what y'all are gonna have to do in this group assignment, you notice I have put the instructions as a attachment. Okay, it's an attachment right there. So you click on the attachment. Okay, so what y'all are gonna have to do is start a video chat. Each one of you is going to need to type in the programs, right? If I were you, to make it quick, I'd have each person type in a different program. That's how you're like smart with group assignments, right? And then each person types in a program, and y'all have to debug the errors. Okay, let me tell you something. You're gonna have errors, so be prepared. Okay, I cannot type in a program and not have errors. That's just the way it works. Nothing works the first time. The one thing I will tell you about the errors is to normally you're going to get a yellow banner saying the line number. Usually look one line above that in code blocks, because that's usually where the error is going to be. The way a compiler works is that the compiler goes line by line, and then by the time it realizes there's an error on this line, it's going to say it's this line. But the line that it just finished reading was the one above it. All right. So if you don't see anything wrong with the line it's talking about, look at the line above it. Okay. So anyway, y'all are going to have to type in these programs, and then you are going to have to write a paragraph saying what each one of the programs does. That's what the assignment is. Okay. Any questions? So what I'm gonna do, for those of you who have time right now, and if you don't have time, you don't have time. You and your group figure out when y'all are gonna get back together to get this done. But for those of you who have time right now, I'm gonna go tell Juan in his session to do a little to show y'all how to get onto code blocks and to show you how to debug errors, right? So to have you bring up your code blocks, he brings up his code blocks and puts in one of these programs and shows you how to troubleshoot, okay? So if you have time right now, go over to Juan's video chat and he's gonna do that. If you don't, just know you gotta download code blocks, all of y'all have to put in these programs and you have to determine what the programs does and write up a little paragraph on what it does. That's what you're going to put in a Word file and attach it. But then you have to go to a tutor and you have to get it checked off. You can never turn in your labs in this class without a tutor checking you off. And what the tutor will do is put down your name and the date and what you did so that I have proof that you got checked off. And then I give you your grade, because tutors can't give grades. So if I didn't check you off, I don't know that you were checked off unless a tutor tells me you were checked off. So you and your partners have to go to the tutor and y'all all have to get checked off for the group assignments. For your individual programs, only you have to go and get checked off. Any questions? Now's the time to ask. Okay, if you don't ask me, go to Juan's chat and then Juan ask Juan. Okay, if Juan is super busy, go to one of the other tutors, and if they are available this week, they should be available. Not too much is happening in the lab, so you can go to any of the tutors for help. You can go to any of the tutors to get checked off. It's just that I have specifically told Juan that y'all will be coming to him during class time for these checkoffs. All right, if that's it, if there are no more questions, then I will see y'all next week.
Ms. O'Donoghue, actually,
Yes. Uh-huh.
there's one more thing on the schedule that you uploaded for the class. It says that we have homework introductory concepts, and I can't find that under any of the weeks, like any of the assignments.
Let's see. What happened to that assignment? Let's see. Computer basics.
Also, Professor, the video for the introductory concepts, it won't play because it requires Java and Adobe's not using Java anymore.
Wait. It should be my video. That's not Carl. Yeah, let me see. Let me see what you're talking about. Introductory concept. So you're telling me you can't see this homework right here that I see,
Yeah,
Ira?
I can't see it.
You can't, why can't you see it? It
Oh,
says
actually,
set as
my
available.
bad. I see it. Sorry. Wait,
Okay. I'm
what?
like, okay, all right. All right, so let's see
I can
what
see it
he's talking
now.
about.
Wasn't able to see it earlier. Oh, okay, got it.
All right, so who couldn't see this video? Because they said they don't have Java.
Oh, it was Milo, but it's just the video, the introductory concepts. The computer basics lecture one comes up, but the second one, it won't. It doesn't, when I click it just says it requires
That's
Java.
okay. I just need to, let me see. I think this is an old, okay, yeah, no, I just need
Or
to delete
Flash, I'm
that.
sorry. I meant Flash.
Yeah, that's what I knew what you meant. Okay, so that is not a thing anymore. So computer basics, all right, I need to change it. This is computer basics is the same as introductory concepts. So I need to change it on my course schedule, but basically it's computer basics. So let me go back. So in Blackboard, there's a lot of different things you have to click, and sometimes the settings don't get, oh, there's two of them. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna say. Don't worry about this one. You don't have to do this one, because I don't know the difference, but we just went over computer basics. So you just do computer basics, okay? And this one I'm taking off. It's not gonna be required. So you have one less homework to do. You just have to do computer basics. So
Yeah,
if I look,
I don't get to see any videos that you guys were showing.
did you go to video slides? That's where they are.